Thank you, Representative Hallberg. He said Declaration of Independence. When in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with one another, and to assume among the powers of the earth a separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. That's the real deal. I think we have a good start. Up next, we welcome Jim Nieman. Jim is a member of the Effingham County Board. He has been instrumental in such initiatives as the gun sanctuary measure that has sparked copycat measures, including in my county and Madison County, being passed in all counties across the state. Jim is actively involved in the pro-life movement, both locally and across the state. It's the issue of our time and of a generation. Jim, thank you.
Thank you. In Effingham County, we start every county board meeting with a prayer. So if you would bear with me for a moment, I think it's important that before I start my work here, that I pray. God, thank you for everything we have, and please don't let me screw this up. Amen. When I was campaigning, I just got reelected in November. We were doing door to door, and every once in a while you run into somebody that may not agree with you. This lady wasn't very happy with me. She had all my opponent's signs in her yard, and she just looks at me. She goes, "You're that Jim Nieman, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." And she says, "You're the one that pushed that Sanctuary for Life thing, aren't you?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." She said, "I wouldn't vote for you if you were St. Peter himself." I said, "Ma'am, if I were St. Peter, you might not be in my district." A couple weeks ago, my wife's uncle passed away, and the pastor gets up and he's giving a eulogy, and it wasn't the typical, sad eulogy. This was a celebration of life, and he was telling a story about little Susie coming home from school. She came home from Sunday school one day, and basically, Mom says, "Susie, what'd you learn at Sunday school?" She goes, "Well, we learned about Jesus' crucifixion today." And she goes, "Okay, what did you learn?" She says, "Well, when they crucified Jesus, at the end, Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus came and took Jesus' body off the cross. And while they were doing that, they felt a pulse. So they called in the air evac life team, and they came and got him and took him to Mount Sinai Hospital. And 3 days later, he was walking around like nothing happened." And Susie's mom says, "Is that what they really told you?" And she goes, "No, but if I told you that, you wouldn't believe me." Well, folks, there's an evil rising in Springfield. And had you told me about that evil 2 years ago, I would have never believed you that this could be possible. House Bill 2495 is the most heinous thing I have ever read. It's scary. And it's scary for so many reasons. Did you know that when we passed our resolution, we declared life begins at conception? After doing some research, I found the state of Illinois declares life at conception. It's not in the abortion laws. It's not in the health laws. It's in the criminal code. In the criminal code, there's two sections that regard dealing with a homicide of the unborn. And it says that unless you're the baby's mother, you can't kill or cause the death of any human individual from conception to birth. In order to kill or cause the death of something, it has to be alive. Illinois declares that life begins at conception. They just don't care. So as I was going through House Bill 2495, it has all these things in it that are bad, and I focused on one thing that I want to talk about today. There is a clause in there that says the unborn have no individual rights. It says the unborn have no individual rights. It says a category of human beings, as defined by their law, have no individual rights. That means they have no protection of law. Does that sound familiar? 1930s? Didn't we fight a civil war or something like that? They want to kill these people because they're inconvenient. That's what abortion is. It's killing for convenience. What else is going to be inconvenient? Once you start down that path of denying rights to people, by the way, the Constitution says we have God-given inalienable rights. Right. Inalienable rights. They don't get to take them away. So we know they're human beings. Law says so. We believe it. And as sure as Jesus Christ rose from the dead, we have evil rising in Springfield. Are the disabled going to be inconvenient? They are in some European countries. Are the old people going to be inconvenient? Am I going to be inconvenient? Folks, let me tell you, to the people that are in power right now, you're inconvenient.
That's right, yeah.
So what do? We pray. And then we vote. And then we pray. And then we file witness slips. And we pray, and we go on Facebook, and we pray, we write letters to the editor. Yes. We pray, we run for office. Yes. We pray, and we support our local government in their resolutions. And we pray some more. Do you know why I said pray so many times? It works. Want to know the thing about it? On this issue, the other side can't pray. Can you imagine what that prayer would be like? I'd watch out for lightning bolts. So in all of our efforts, as we become even more inconvenient for them, each and every one of us, I ask that we do one thing, and I'm going to close it with this prayer. Please remember to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind. Love your neighbor as yourself, as we're inconvenient in saving lives. Thank you.